rest, cause my life is a mess. But I could change all of that if I change my mind, if I try my best.
Can I face this? Can I make it? I feel faithless, wish I could replace this. I need changes, I wanna be the greatest. So I will chase it, I will be courageous. Can I face this? Can I make it? I feel faithless, wish I could replace this. I need changes, I wanna be the greatest. So I will chase it, I will be courageous.
Waking up, every day's tough. I'm just hoping I can make it through the same stuff. Got a bad job, got no love. Feel so alone, feel so stuck. Gotta find something to look forward to, anything to keep my mind off what I'm going through. But I don't know where to start, what's the first move? Maybe I just try a bunch of different things soon. Yeah, that could be the trick, 100 different things, I mean one has gotta stick. But how exactly do I pick? If I'm good at it, like a really good fit, or maybe passion is it? Something I could do every day, never miss. Something that I love, that could feel like a gift. Forget about the money and just find what it is.
Can I face this? Can I make it? I feel faithless, wish I could replace this. I need changes, I wanna be the greatest. So I will chase it, I will be courageous.
Let's go. Enigmatic, I need something like new magic, a new tactic, something that can help me take a stab at it. I wanna move past it, I need some new traffic. Up in my head, make some space for a new path. And no one really gets what I'm going through, I'm showing you. But we're too self-obsessed to be noticing the growing mood. Anxiety is on the rise, can't you see it growing too? I need some peace of mind, anything to help me going through. All these thoughts in my head, thoughts in my bed, taught me to dread every night, but instead I just need a little bit of light in my head. Positive thoughts, they just might beat the stress. I just might need some rest, cause my life is a mess. But I could change all of that if I change my mind, if I try my best.
Can I face this? Can I make it? I feel faithless, wish I could replace this. I need changes, I wanna be the greatest. So I will chase it, I will be courageous. Can I face this? Can I make it? I feel faithless, wish I could replace this. I need changes, I wanna be the greatest. So I will chase it, I will be courageous.
Waking up, every day's tough. I'm just hoping I can make it through the same stuff. Got a bad job, got no love. Feel so alone, feel so stuck. Gotta find something to look forward to, anything to keep my mind off what I'm going through. But I don't know where to start, what's the first move? Maybe I just try a bunch of different things soon. Yeah, that could be the trick, 100 different things, I mean one has gotta stick. But how exactly do I pick? If I'm good at it, like a really good fit, or maybe passion is it? Something I could do every day, never miss. Something that I love, that could feel like a gift. Forget about the money and just find what it is.
Can I face this? Can I make it? I feel faithless, wish I could replace this. I need changes, I wanna be the greatest. so I will chase it. I will be courageous.
Let's go. Enigmatic, I need something like new magic, a new tactic, something that can help me take a stab at it. I wanna move past it, I need some new traffic. Up in my head, make some space for a new path. And no one really gets what I'm going through, I'm showing you. But we're too self-obsessed to be noticing the growing mood. Anxiety is on the rise, can't you see it growing too? I need some peace of mind, anything to help me going through. All these thoughts in my head, thoughts in my bed, taught me to dread every night, but instead
Alright, we're here loading into Dune today. We're gonna run some deep desert and do some of the stations out there, I think. Make sure our audio, looks like our audio's working. That's great. We made some modifications to the base. Had to make room here for 3 of the small scouts. The other one's out right now. I think Rotten's flying it or has it somewhere. So we've got 3 of the scouts, and then we've got one of the big assaults up top. And this assault is like massive. I got a lot of empty space right now. We're just have the base built, but we're gonna like fill it out as we go. Look how big these assaults are. Big dog. That thing's like twice the size of a scout, or 3 times the size of a scout. So a lot of storage on it. It's got double the storage as a scout. But I don't take this one out as much because while it's got more storage, the you can't put it away. And what I mean by putting it away is like you can't use the vehicle backup tool and just put it in the backup tool and then go in somewhere. It's way easier for me to take a scout, put it away, you know, and then go. This thing has to sit out in the open, you know, or I have to try and tuck it away somewhere so that way it doesn't take a bunch of damage So, yeah. I wish with the assaults that they would make some machine guns on it. So it's got a forward firing, like maybe it fires heavy or light darts. That would make the assaults more assault, right? As of right now, they fire the same impact of rockets as the scouts, you know, so why would you not want to just be one of the scouts that have more maneuverability and fire the same payload, right? So, but if they were to make it to where these had forward firing machine guns and the rockets, and they have more armor, you know, now all of a sudden they're a little bit more dangerous, right? So, we are heading to the deep desert today. We're going to run some stations here. Might only be an hour or so stream. And then we will be done. Okay, let's look and see what we need. We need fuel cells for sure. Might take 2 fuel cells just to be safe. I don't really need this other stuff, I don't think. Might as well take it since it's a deep desert. You just never know what you're going to run into. Yeah, so we've done a lot of things on the base here. So, but, you know, I needed to add this huge landing area for the assault up top because the thing is so massive. And it's not as maneuverable as a scout, so having a top landing pad made a lot of sense for it. These Atreides windows were a lot nicer alternative to what I had in here before. So when the sun's just right, this whole room lights up and it's really nice. So, switched out doors, windows, and stuff like that. Man, switching out walls, doors, and windows in your base is a little dangerous too because like I could remove this wall and next thing you know, like 25% of your base collapses or disappears, which is exactly what happened. So, yeah, so I had to rebuild a lot just by trying to switch one wall out, you know. Let's go in here and check. I don't know what our water supplies are at. Oh, we're completely full, so we're not going to be able to fill the dead Fremen beds. This one didn't even have anywhere that it could go. So maybe we could look and run down here real quick and see if we can get a project started that will burn a little bit of water to allow. Had to fill this whole room with generators to power this whole place. So really cool little trick is you can run up here and then you see this fuel generators. It evenly fuels everything, including this thing out here. I'm pretty sure. Yep, it's running. Cool. That's why our water's full. I don't know if we have the ores or anything to do any big project. We'll see here. I mean, I guess we could make like... This is like burning water just for the sake of burning water, right? We don't really need to do that. I did make this base open to the public, like so if you were out farming ores or whatever and you got caught in a sandstorm, you could just pull your buggy in and under this. And there's even some dew here that, like if they needed to pull water from the plants, like they were that dying of thirst. So I don't know what level of risk this invites to just having an open base, like because they literally could run in here and run all around. They don't have access to this stuff, but they could run anywhere around in my base. They don't have access to stuff. I don't even think this door would open without they don't have access to this space, so they would have to jump over this wall, which they could run all the way up in here. I don't think they could run through this penta shield, so they wouldn't be able to exit through here or get through there. Same with up top. So reload everything. We could burn some water drinking, and then we'll head out. Thought I had, I guess I moved it in here. Alright, let's go check this out. Make sure this thing's fueled up. 100%. Flight in this game is pretty fun. I liked it. They need to make this wall that you run into for the world map a sticky wall, so you don't hit it and just fall down like a soft stick that you can pull away from if you were like, oops, I didn't mean to hit that or didn't know that was there. But at least your ship doesn't just hit something hard and fall to the ground. Know what I mean? Let's see here. Look at that. Moon. That's beautiful. Graphics on this, they've done such a good job. It's a beautiful looking game. Pocket this thing. Get ready for combat. We're reloaded. We're reloaded. Play this with some speed. Survivor, that's his buddy. Okay. There we go. One guy had a cool mask. I don't know if you saw that. This guy? No. Someone else. Someone else. This guy right here. Access granted. Some of the stuff I want, some of it I have like tons of and I don't need. That's all we needed down here was that one chest and the oh, that's right. Now we go back to the start. What's down here though? Remember, I know I need to go back that way, but oh, another room. This chest had a dispenser belt in it. Cool. Okay. I think I always miss that one on accident. Darts. I have like 5 billion darts. I have all the darts. What we got? Scrubber. I don't have that one. Alright, we're done here. On to the next. Running the A ones today. Short stream, just wanted to get some schematics, right? Yeah, it's an MMO. The deep desert where I'm at right here has PvP. I'm in the PvE area, but there are some designated PvP areas in it. Combat's really fun. The game is huge. It is a massive, massive game. These guys built their base right next to this. Yeah, if you were to play this with me, you'd have a lot of fun. Rotten's over here playing. We've got a pretty good-sized group of people. I'm looking forward to getting into the PvP aspect of it. So, I've only PvP'd in it once by accident. I didn't realize I was fighting a player. I thought it was a bot. I was like, man, this bot's giving me a go. And after I killed him, it had the little skull icon, and I realized it was a player. Giving you some once human vibes. Yeah, I haven't played that, but man, Dune it's pretty impressive. Like the skill trees and everything, there's tons of different classes and then passives and active abilities. Like you really could build, like if you just want to be ranged and shoot weapons, you could go the trooper route, but then also use some other stuff. Yeah, so I'm a sword master. I can use weapons, no problem, and I do get a bonus. I have it set up, you know.
Someone here.
There's somebody right here.
I require backup.
Person's gonna come down the hallway, maybe. Come on out, cupcake. Maybe not. Was there anything back here? Oh yeah. There's a hidden compartment that I can't use for some reason. Alright, let's go kill this person. Come back to that door. That door's not working for some reason.
I need backup.
Let's go back to that door because there's a chest behind it that I need in. Whoa. I just went through the door. I used an ability and just flew through the door. That's funny. Did I even need anything? It was just that one chest back here? Apparently. Yeah, that door's like... So these research stations drops random schematics, which is like this right here, and this schematic is for this gun. You know, once I get back to base and learn this, then I can craft that gun assuming I have the, you know, the proper resources for it. Sometimes there's like stuff that's really good and you want to spend the time to go out and farm the items needed to craft it. Looks like we have to go up here.
Oh yeah.
Jeez, that hallway all set up in booby traps. I always forget about that. It catches me by surprise. A lot of this stuff I'm picking up are like the materials needed to craft items that are near end game. So I'm sure this is a boss fight. If they're in here. Doesn't look like they're in here. So I'm behind a player. They haven't respawned yet. The bosses haven't. So we'll get in, get out. This is wow. Get in and get out. Don't even have to fight the boss. They haven't spawned yet. Backwards. We'll just keep heading up. Up, up, up. Yeah, this is why I like the assault, because I can stow it away like that, and then it's not out here getting attacked or taking durability. The storm comes through. And that is really nice. Alright, where's the next one? Right here. Yeah, in A5. So I was running this a couple days ago, running these stations, and I got the schematic that I wanted for a weapon. My primary weapon that I have is like this unique drop, sword drop. I guess you get it at the very end of the Swordmaster's storyline, but it's 110.2 damage, which is a lot. And anyways, having that sword's great, but unless you learn the schematic, you can't repair it. And so I lucked out and found the schematic for it out here in one of these stations. And that schematic at the time was going for 125,000 Solari, which is gold, the equivalent of gold. So it was going for a lot. And I hadn't bought it. And so, anyways, finding that out here was nice, and then I was like committed to, okay, well, I need to make sure that I get out there on a regular to increase the likelihood that I get another one of those, because adding an 125,000 or 70,000, whatever they're going for now, just by selling it would help me out a lot. So I think level wise too, I'm level 171. I thought I was higher than that, but the max level's 200, I think. So, and the map that we're in, so I'm in row A right now, and it's 1 through 8, but this map goes out all the way to like G, or I don't even know. It goes way out into the desert, like this is where the land is all at, and then you start getting out into open desert, and it gets a little... The reason I like being able to put my scout away is because if I'm way out there in the middle of nowhere and a sandstorm comes, I don't want my ornithopter getting shredded, because the amount of resources that went into crafting this thing was ridiculous, you know. So to just get it destroyed carelessly, there is a lot. You were freaking awesome, MVP. Yeah, there is a lot of vehicle PvP end game. So these things can be equipped. Right now I have storage on the side of it to carry stuff, but I can switch that out with rockets. And so the vehicle PvP is, you know, pretty fun. You can do a lot of evasive maneuvers, and so then there's foot player versus player. Like if these stations, as soon as I get these stations I'm at right now, when you get out into the deep desert, there's wrecks and things like that where you're just flagged for PvP, and anyone you run into you could potentially fight. So so you just got to keep your head on a swivel when you get out into the deep desert. Other side of this. Oh, it's over here. This scout is way more mobile than the assault too, which is weird. Like the assault I think should be more mobile. Or, if it's not more mobile, it has heavier armor, and at least give it machine gun capabilities. That's what it needs. Machine gun plus rockets. You shouldn't have the same firepower whether you're in a scout or an assault. So, because what's happening is people are just putting the rocket launchers on the scouts and just being very mobile and very rockety. So, make sure we're reloaded. Right. Can't go in there. Am I behind somebody here? Somebody went through and cleared this out. Let's go drink this. You know, this base is all full of poison gas and stuff. I'm gonna just walk over here and willy-nilly drink the water. Seems legit, right? I think I'm behind somebody. Somebody went through here. Oh, no. There we go. Hi. As Rotten would say, eat this knee, my guy. Get anything? What's this? Don't need those.
Halt and be ready. Shield engaged.
I've seen some water.
Hostile exposed.
Someone over here somewhere. Where are you? Heard some gunfire. Maybe not. I don't know. That was weird. Oh yeah. Where were you earlier? I just ran over. Yeah, the mobility on the Swordmaster is really nice. I like it a lot. Think Rogue and ESO, right? You can teleport behind people, and just your ability to reposition is huge.
Someone here. You gotta get foam.
This. Nice. Oh, we're gonna have to drop some stuff. Drop. Drop, drop. Drop, drop. Pick that up, pick that up. I hear someone. This is where we stack up all the bodies. Okay, yep. Keep that. Let's drop this. We don't need that. We don't really need those. We have 5 billion of those. Still suit. I have the helm for this, so this is cool. I'll be able to complete that. Complete that set at some point. Sweep as we're leaving here. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check out some videos about PvP. Hard to imagine counterplay to that from just what I've seen here. Yeah, so the thing about it is when they teleport behind you, you just juke like that and they'll end up missing, or they're using a heavy attack juke. And you can see how with my shield up right now, that shield around my body, I can turn it off. Like, I would take true damage to my health without that shield on, but with that shield on, and I have like some of the top tier shielding, not the absolute top tier, but they're up there. MK6 is the highest you can get, or purple, you know, random or rare, unique, right? So it's all about plays and counterplays. You can see on my health too, or above my health on the bottom left, that top thing is like when you juke, you can see that stamina bar break becomes less, and that's how you would get killed, is basically you'll get stam checked, right? And so that's why I'm running abilities that, like the knee charge, my number 1 stuns people and does damage. My number 2, the wire, that stuns people, plus it's great mobility. And then my number 3 stuns people. And then this ability, this thing right here, those shots, it's called a drill. It's a drill weapon. And so the drill weapons, the drill shots, go through shields. It'll hit a shield and then start going very slowly through a shield, and he'll have like a red bullseye on him, and unless he dodges it, those shots will hit him. And so what I'm doing is like hoping to put people in a position where they get stam checked. They just don't have enough stamina to break free or dodge all the things I'm throwing at them. So mobility is, you know, my greatest thing. Like I literally can fly, you know, on this guy. I could go even higher than that. Watch this. I could switch to my gun and then just be sniping people up in the air. And that bottom belt is my power pack, my suspensor belt, or shields, right? And so with the highest shields or suspensor belt, I can do some really cool stuff. Let's see, we got one more station over at A3 and that's it. Obviously it's Dune, so out in the deep desert, that's a PvP area to the left there. That's one of the shipwrecks, so you get too close to that, you automatically get marked for PvP. And there are like guilds that will just ambush solos or players there, so at least going there. You could go there solo for some outnumbered fights, but going there with a friend or two is always better. So, and there are things called life scanners, so you could scan as you're entering it and it'll show players that are in there, and then you'd be like, yep, that's a trap. It's a trap. Just hovering like this or gliding conserves fuel. It's also how you go the fastest. Like when you are pressing forward and using your wings, there's only a max speed that you can get up to, but if you go into glide mode, or vulture mode is what it's called, you can actually hover or glide in a slight downward pitch a lot faster than you could ever like. So as far as outrunning people, that's what you want to do, is like get as much elevation as you can and then kind of pitch down. See, we're at 175 right now speed wise. That's a PvP area right there directly in front of us, so even flying over it will flag you for PvP, and then if there's somebody sitting around with an ornithopter that has rockets, they'll just start griefing you or trying to drop you. So part of the ship's back there and the other part's right there. Both of them are PvP. I mean, I could probably go in there and not run into anyone. In PvP, most of the time, whatever is on your character, like gear-wise, this stuff won't be lost, but they have access to all of this. Like, I probably shouldn't even have come to the deep desert with gold on me, right? If by chance I were to die, they have access to it. They could just take it. So, but there's a way that they get access to everything you're wearing, everything, and that is if in the PvP, I think it's L, yeah, Landsrad, and then you look at the terms. If right to salvage is here, you can take anything off of someone's body, so their equipment, their gear, their everything. And so you have to be very careful if you're going out to the deep desert. Right to salvage is if you die, it's gone. Alright, let's knock this one out quick. Like the ninja. see in chat the community is setting up their own things. Next week, a battle royale, last man standing. So the community's setting up things like dueling tournaments and stuff like that. I haven't participated in any of that yet, and I want to. I just need to get my gear a little better. Like, I still have one piece that I'm not happy with. This thing right here. It's half broken, and I want to replace that. So, yeah. But we're getting there. We're about ready. Might be behind somebody again. They're running the same stuff we're running and killing all the mobs out in front of us. Is there base raiding? Yes. So out in the deep desert in the PvP zone, there's a player right there. We would be fighting right now. In the PvP zone, when a sandstorm comes through, which is random, all the bases, their power supply goes down for a 5 or 6 minute window. You got 5 or 6 minutes to crack open someone's base and completely loot them. So if you're out in the desert and you're looking for spice and a sandstorm comes, you want to try and hightail it to your base, because you're going to have to defend it, you know, in hopes that raiders don't crack it open and take everything you have. The deep desert bases too are only here for a week, and then a huge storm comes through called the Coriolis storm. Nice parking job. The Coriolis storm does a complete wipe of the deep desert and also repositions some different things, capture points and stuff like that. So, is that another station? Oh, cool. I think I'm doing this other station on rotation. Yeah, so base raiding is a thing. There's a particular type of gun called a last gun, and the last gun can cut through walls and stuff. It takes a while. So you're literally there chopping on their wall when they, you know, can defend their base. So I guess one of the problems is there are large guilds, so you'll run into 10 and 20 person groups with, you know, and half of them are running ornithopters with rockets on them. So if you're coming to a huge spice blow out in the desert, you know, they'll just light you up. You know, they're trying to defend that area and just take the entire, because one of the big spice blows, from what I hear, could be like 50,000 spice, and so that's an equivalent of like, I don't know, 5,000 spice melange or some melange. So it's a lot. You can get a lot of things done in game with that. So life of a solo player is really difficult on some servers and much easier on others. So this server that I'm on seems pretty friendly during the mornings. They're all in chat talking and stuff. Like this guy even right here says, I haven't had any griefers, but just in case, I'd like to, I like safe viewing. So, oh, they're talking about going and watching the Battle Royale. Nice little ring. I'll have to go check those out once I get more into the PvP atmosphere of this all. I have a feeling though that people aren't going to like me. I'm not saying I'm going to be a good PvPer, but anyone that just attacks people, they immediately call them a griefer, or they call them, you know, like an idiot PvPer, right? Or a player killer, a PKer, you know. And so
there's someone here. I need reinforcements.
little shifty. Yeah, so being a player killer, they're immediately not, you're not going to be people's friend, you know, on people's good side. Yeah, dude, you totally should. You absolutely should. You and I'd run around and do some stupid stuff.
Identify yourself. Push back the end. Help! See I've got you covered.
What's this? Whoops. Some MK5 wings. Might have to drop something to pick that up. These things. There's different types of belts too. This belt, the full suspensor belt versus the leap belt, is what I like. But the way you glide or hover or move, you can have different effects to it. Like you could have a double jump effect where, and then you just travel in a straight line in whatever direction. So if I use this and was flying up in the air and then hit it, I would just straight line fly as far as my belt would allow me to. And so there's a lot of really cool tweakable things that could play to your play style. Like Rotten's running, he's a sword master and he's running a completely different set of abilities. He's got the knee charge because it hits so hard and stuns. And the knee charge I can aim up in the air too, like, and just hover away or fly away. Like if I don't like the way a fight's going out in the open, I can create space. Actually, look at this real quick. I feel like I'm going the wrong way. We are. It's supposed to be over here. This is unlooted, so I'm guessing yes. Nothing in here, dead end. Okay. There's the ring I need. Identification band. Are you locked into a class? You can create your character and can change things later and try stuff. Yep. So you can pick and choose and do whatever you want, skill lines. Like, I'm actually a cross between a Bene Gesserit and a Sword Master. So I'm using, this is a Sword Master ability, but this is a Bene Gesserit ability. Now you have to find the trainers, and each trainer has its full skill line that you have to go through. Or full storyline or quest line. So like when you first start out, there are two things that if you're considering or even like the Swordmaster or Bene Gesserit, you want to pick those up for sure, because their first trainer that you'll ever run into is like mid to late game, so you won't even have access to any of this stuff unless you start out as a Swordmaster or Bene Gesserit. So I started out as a Swordmaster because I like the melee combat, and and then you can just respec down there and pick and choose whatever you want. Now how it works is these are your abilities, the triangle ones, or square I guess, diamond. The diamond shaped ones are your abilities, and these are your techniques or passives. Well, these are your techniques, and then the round ones are your passives that you get at all times. And so you absolutely can pick and choose, you know, like even soldier, Guinness was playing mostly just ranged and as a soldier, and so he's running a lot of things like with grenades and pulse grenades and gravity fields and, you know, like you can drop a turret on the ground. Where was the turret at? Oh, turret's right here under this one, Mentat. And you drop this sentinel on the ground and it just auto shoots at people, and you can bump the damage up on it and buff, you know. You can drop a shield wall in front of you, like you can have poison resistances. There's all kinds of cool ways you can make your own creation as far as a character. So like I really like where I'm at, you know. It fits my playstyle really well. Get up on people and then play a hit and run playstyle and stun people. I'm planning on doing a lot of PvP. I just want to make sure my gear is ready. So not really sure where I'm supposed to be going right now. Here. Hello? Is there a boss in here? Oh, yeah, this is where we're supposed to go. This is the big chest. Man, I've gotten this thing like 5 times this week. Alright, we're gonna have to drop this, drop this, drop this, drop this, grab that, grab that, grab that. Probably want to grab that and repair it. I'm capped out on weight. I don't really need more of these, so we'll grab. Even dropping that wasn't enough weight. So all I do with these buggy parts and stuff, unless I find one that... this right here, the red bar, represents damaged. So it can never be fixed or repaired greater than that red bar. Very similar to like DayZ when you have something that's damaged or broken or whatever, right? I don't need these. I have like 5 billion of those. So let's go back over here and grab... Oh, I didn't even see this chest back here. Grab this stuff. So it's a lot like with DayZ when things get broken or beyond, and the duct tape will only fix them up to worn or whatever. Did I go over here? I'm pretty sure I did. Guess we're done in here. Now the deep desert progressively gets harder the farther out you go as far as the stations. Like I went out to H. I'm in row A, and I went out to H and did like a station out there, and it was difficult, and I could feel my gear, my lack of gear out there. Like I had to work, even to fight one person, one NPC was a fight, and I couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine fighting a player while that was happening.
Weapon empty.
I was aiming that at the guy and it shot right through him, like he wasn't even there. Nothing to see here. Alright, inventory's full, so we're going back to base. If I'm going the right way. Or did I come from this direction? Turned around.
They're here. I need some backup.
Catch this.
Got a little dicey there. They spawned on me. Yeah, you can see how these melee ones are a problem. Oh, another thing, like a huge aspect of combat in this game is this too. When you're using melee, your shield doesn't drop. But when I shoot, watch what happens to my shield. My shield drops for a second. So if you're all ranged, your shield comes down. Everything will be hitting your health for like true damage. If you're melee, your shield stays up. So for the most part, most weapon attacks, you know, don't get through your shields unless they're using a drill shot weapon or a flamethrower or a Gatling gun, and they just pelt your shield so much that the yellow bar underneath my health depletes to 0, and then you have no shield. And you could be stam checked and have no shield, and you know, that's usually when you're gonna take a death. You need to disengage, let your shields replenish or your stam replenish. So they have massive areas that you can fly around in. Like, this is just one block I'm in right here, but this thing goes way up here to I, right? And I'm in A right now. So, and this is just the deep desert map. When you get to, let's go here. We're facing that way. When you get over to the other world, like we're gonna take the world map and fly over to Beskaya or whatever. We're gonna go over to the mainland area that's mostly PvE. That area is massive too. So, and a lot like with DayZ, when you first start the game, like my very first death in this game was actually to dehydration. So that water bar to the left of my health, you have to keep an eye on it, you know. I have to keep an eye on, like when I'm flying the ornithopter, the bar all the way to the far right, which is my gasoline. And also the damage on your, you know, like at some point I need to repair my wings on my ornithopter, so they take some damage. You can fly during a sandstorm, but it will shred your wings and do tons of damage, and like the repair cost or expense of materials to repair is really high. So this is the world map, and I haven't seen a map of the world map to know where everything's at. I just know deep desert's top left, and then the Bezgaya or whatever where we're going is down here to the bottom left, or like in the center. And I know that these rings represent you're getting closer to a destination point. So, and then based on where you enter this at is where you come into the map at. So if I wanted to go all the way to the far south side of this entire map, I could exit through the north, fly around, and then re-enter and come in on the south side. And so that's like a cheeky way of getting around quickly, as opposed to flying across a bunch of open airspace. But my first death in this game was to dehydration. They don't have, like with DayZ, they don't have like the food consumption aspect. It's just keep your water up and then food in this game looks like it's a bonus that will give you spice infused. Like this bar at the bottom in the middle of my screen says if I hit Z, I'll go into this. It's basically your ultimate for like ESO. Yeah, it is in the survival genre. Surviving getting ate by the worm is very difficult. I haven't gotten ate by the worm, but everyone that says they haven't got ate by the worm eventually gets ate by the worm at least once. And everything on your person, your entire ornithopter, if you're in it, everything is destroyed. So, there's an inventory slot that everyone is thinking that this is going to be a clause or something to allow you to ride the worm. Yeah, and do that. And it might introduce a Fremen skill line that teaches you how to do that. Because as of right now, you're looking for the Fremen. You're trying to find where they're at. They're supposedly completely wiped out or dead. This is my base I've been working on. Look how big that assault ornithopter is compared to this scout that I land next to it. Look how tiny that scout is compared to like their noses are about in the same spot. Look at that. Actually, the scout could come forward a little bit, like up to here. Right? Look at the complete size difference. It's insane. Figure out my okay, we're gonna learn this schematic for sure because I would like to get that whole set. Scrubber, another weapon liberated from the shipwrecks of the shoal. This unique battle rifle has been modified with a mechanism that adds a touch of explosive powder to every dart that passes down the barrel, perhaps used as a protection against smuggler or pirate attacks in the planetary shipping lanes. That's interesting. Let's learn this schematic. And then this MK5 focused Reaper. I don't collect Dune much, but that's pretty interesting. I'm gonna learn it only because I haven't yet. So what I've been doing is kind of stashing stuff here for when I go to a city. Then I'll grab the stuff that needs to be sold and just sell everything. Even building this base or building all of these machines, like these improved blood purifiers and advanced garment fabricator, this huge water cistern, like this was a task, you know. I think this is like 200 hours of gameplay. So, and like that, the scout ornithopter, if you look at it, it alone takes, you know, 1,000 water and a whole bunch of the Dura ingots and then a bunch of these. So getting all this stuff together, you know, especially these, is difficult. And that's just to make the thruster, but then you also need to make the hull, which is that, the cockpit, the engine, the generator. Then you have to make either 4 or 6 wings, and then you need to make the chassis, and then you need to make the storage, and then you need to make the, you know, and then you got to put it all together. So to have one ornithopter is, you know, people flying around in ornithopters have put some work in. People flying around in an assault have put some work in. Bunch of stuff from that run that I just need to sell. You can't just outright repair this stuff. You'd actually have to equip it onto an ornithopter or onto a buggy, and then repair it from there. Oh, as far as vehicles go too, so this is my buggy, and I've got a laser attached to it, so if I want to go out and just farm ore, I can. The thing about this is I don't ever even have to get out of it. I can just say, like, there's some titanium ore, and I just switch to the laser, and now I'm commanding the laser, and then I chop up the ore, and then it immediately goes right into my inventory in the buggy, and the buggy has a huge inventory. So I just drive around and farm whatever I want. You know, it's slow. It's like a tank, right? If a storm comes, a sandstorm comes, it's going to take damage unless you can find a spot to hide it. The next vehicle is these little sand bikes. Very fast, a lot of fun. The sand bikes you can do, you know, you can cover a lot of ground on real quickly. So these things are a lot of fun to ride around on. They have a little bit of storage if you want to do a storage unit on them. There was a second guy here. Oh yeah, there he is. So the sand bikes are a lot of fun. And the sand bikes will be like the first vehicle that you get access to. Driving over open desert, you know, the vibration from this, you can't outrun the worm. So you have to play really smart around open sand if you're traveling. But this will be the first vehicle you end up getting. And you will risk getting devoured by the worm a lot, cutting from, like, if you look at the map. And then there's like all these red markers are quicksand, so you'll get stuck in that and die. But trying to drive across this open from this spot to that spot, that's a lot of open desert. Tons of open desert here. Like, you are, you know, even cutting from, like, I have a secondary smaller base here. Even cutting from, say, this rock over here to this rock is very dangerous. So the sandworms will come after you. So huge map though. Try and keep this stuff tucked out of over to the side a little bit. You can see to the far left above my water bar, it says we're water sealed right now. So that means that these weapons or these vehicles and stuff aren't going to take durability. There's 1,500 people on each individual server. So 1,500 player characters on this server. And even, like, I can go right over here. A guy built a base right there. You can see it. You know, so he has a base built there. If you go over to the starter zone, there's tons and tons of bases there. There's more player bases right down there. That's a player base. That's a player base right there. So then this is like the PvE map. So getting your feet under you, getting all the resources you need, and getting all the everything you need, you know, to be able to get your gear right and everything to compete, to head out to Deep Desert, because Deep Desert PvP is in game. So yeah. Everything at your base takes water too, like to farm minerals and to do whatever. And so keeping your water supply up. So I built these big cisterns that hold water, and there's different ways to get water. Once you get these Fremen death still beds, you're just taking corpses. Like I'll go and kill NPCs and put their body in my buggy, and then carry them back, and then you can actually pull straight from your inventory. Like I forgot that I cut that aluminum ore up. I need to get that off the buggy, but you can pull straight from your inventory of any of your things that are parked in your base and just deposit it in whichever chest that you're standing at. And so I would fill my buggy's inventory with bodies and then empty them into this cooler here. And then these Fremen deathbeds pull every drop of water from them, so they generate like 30 or 60,000 water a piece. And as soon as you get those, then you now no longer have to manually pull blood from things. And so, but what that looks like is, I'll do that here real quick, just so you can see. That leap suspensor belt allows me to, there's going to be 3 bad guys down in this. Sometimes I'll kill them and bring their bodies up.
Who's there? Shields up! Someone here!
So you just stand over them with this huge device and stick it in them and suck their blood out. And it fills up these blood bags that you have. And then you take the blood bags over to the blood dispenser that I have. That's why these guys will talk trash from time to time. They'll be like, your water is mine. They're talking about they're going to kill you and suck your blood out just to... I thought I killed a third person. I don't remember where he was at. So now I take that. I didn't even come close. Like when you first start out, you'll have a really poor blood extractor, and then you'll have like limited blood bags that you can carry. So trying to get enough blood to do anything is difficult, but then down the road you'll have enough blood sacs that you can and then all we'll do is we'll run up to these machines right here. Any big time savers you wish? I would say we just deposit all the blood that we gathered from those bad guys, and then I'll end up putting it in storage whenever I start using some water here. I would say the most important thing is this. You have a decision when you first create a character. It's going to ask you if you want to unlock all crafting, or if you want the crafting to follow the storyline. What they're really asking you is this. I had the crafting locked behind the storyline because I didn't want to cheat myself the survival aspect of the game. Like I said, my first time dying was to dehydration. So if you select lock the crafting behind the storyline, there are things that you just simply cannot make or craft until you get to a certain point or a certain quest or meet a certain person or do a certain thing, right? For the people that just unlock all crafting, as long as they have the resources and they have a machine that will make the whatever, they can craft the thing. And so I locked mine to live the harder life, and it was difficult. I say your first 10 to 15 levels, you're just learning how to survive. Very similar to DayZ, where we were just tracking down water, we're just tracking down food, we're trying to put a makeshift fishing rod together, we're just trying to survive. Dune is very similar to that, your first 10 to 15 levels. You're trying to stay out of the sun, because the sun is absolutely baking you, and because you don't have that free access to water, your water supply over to the left is depleting big time. You will, within your first 10 to 15 levels, if you don't have any outside help, you will regularly operate at your water supply. You'll regularly operate. I can't even get my mouse. You see how the water supply is broken into 3 sections there, thirds? You'll regularly operate in your water supply at the bottom third. So, and you don't have access to gain water. You will be looking for down here these plants that I parked over. You'll be looking for these flowers like this, and you'll be walking up and just using your hands to pull the dew off of them just to barely stay alive. You'll be looking for plants that aren't in the sun. You'll be looking for crevices to stay out of the sun, and you'll be just gathering resources to make your first armor set or to do your first whatever. So meanwhile, you're gaining EXP and you're unlocking things that will be quality of life changes for you, like this Shigawire or whatever it's called, the Shigawire, this mobility thing that I had. Like being able to do this and fly around was huge as far as traversal goes, like being able to get to spots that I wasn't able to. They'll go through a full thing. This base isn't your typical base. This is called an advanced subfief. So, and I even have it elevated. I put stake extenders so I could increase my claim. I could make this thing go up all the way as high as that mountain if I wanted. I could also extend it all the way to the left and all the way to the right with a vertical and horizontal stake extenders. So you can make your base as big as you want, but you already saw how much dead space I have in it that I haven't filled out. There's no need to make it any bigger. This is perfect for me. But this is an advanced subfief. your first base that you'll make, I'll actually fly you over to my very first base. Your first base is much smaller. Much smaller than this. And I left my first base because there might be players like you that come in, and I let you use it as a base of operations, so you don't have to use your own if you don't want. Or if you want to live the hard life and you want to have that experience of building your own base and doing all that, I get that too. I would say a regret was a friend of mine gave me a still suit, which helps you survive in the environment longer, and they gave me a good weapon, you know, and he gave me my first bike, and I gave it back to him once I was able to make my own. The thing about that, I shorted myself the experience of survival and living off the land and learning the hard life, you know. So I regret taking those handouts, even though he was doing them for the right reasons. I wish that I would have not. And so that was a regret. And also I had all my crafting locked behind the storyline because I wanted to live the hard life and then turn around and accepted these things from him. So, but if you want to live the fast life and just get to end game, unlock all your crafting and let me and Rotten help you out and get you to end game, and then we'll run around and fight people, right? Start at the bottom. Yeah. So this is my base. This base right here, this thing with the lights on it, is actually a trading post. So I built my base right next to the trading post. And at the time when I built this, I didn't have access to like those penta shields, the white shields that lock us in. I didn't have access to that stuff, and so I just built you know, a little base that I'm gonna get this packed away. I just built a base that could be my base of operations. So I have like a little living area here. You don't need to do this. This is like 100% aesthetics, right? This serves nothing. Yeah, I can sit or I can lay in the bed. I can interact with this stuff, but this does, you know, what you really need is a space to be able to build your fabricators and your storage devices and all of that you can craft your gear, you know, change stuff into ingots, make building supplies and materials and do all that stuff, right? So I made this base being my first base, and then I upgraded to a medium ore refinery because refining ore ends up being a huge part of it. You know, I had a bunch of small blood purifiers and I put in one big blood purifier, you know, and then I left this bottom part open. I didn't even have a penta shield to lock my base up, so people could just run in here. They can't access anything or do anything with anything, but they can take cover if a sandstorm's coming through. And so I kind of kept that same mentality on my ground level over at my other base. So, and these are the power generators, and you have to farm these power cells that are all over the place and then feed them into it. So, and it tells you that I've got 10 days left on power supply here at this building. This is what the subfief looks like. This is a basic subfief, and when you access it, there's a lot of things you could do. You can name it, like let's name this Grimm's starter base. Grimm's, whoops. There you go, Grimm's starter base. So, okay. So now on your map, like if we were on a friends list or whatever, when you pulled up your map and hover over it, it'll say, oh, that's Grimm's starter base, you know? So, right, it hasn't changed the name. Did it change the name? Did I save it? Maybe I didn't save it. Yeah. You could set as a respawn location too, so if you died to the worm or whatever, you would end up coming out here. So, and then I can go in and I can set the permissions. So like Rotten needs to be co-owner on this, you know, and I would set you to co-owner. And then what we could do is you can set up a lot of things, like anyone and everyone could access this one chest if they come in. Like I could set a water a still here if somebody needed a drink, and we could set it to where if people just come in they could drink from it. Now what would happen is they could just deplete our entire water doing that, but or I could set all the machines to co-owner only, you know, that only the co-owner would be able to, right, access level. Associates can access these, so they can put power cells in them, or we can make it to the co-owner, only I can do that. So when you got a really large guild base, let's say you're farming stuff that's fairly end game and you want to protect that, we would drop a big chest for you or create a big chest, and we set that big chest up to whatever category you are. You're listed as co-owner. Only co-owners can access that chest, right? And so, but probably what's recommended is you should take the time to create your own little base at some point. Maybe not your very first base. Maybe you want to create some big crazy base down the road just because it's fun and gives you something to do. Like the design of this, you know, open floor plan, you know, the buggy fit in here because I was driving the buggy out and around farming minerals and stuff, and then I'd bring the buggy back and unload the buggy and then start crafting, right? There's no way I would have got to that massive base where I'm at had I not had this base to get my feet under me, right? Farm materials. And then there was a day where I ended up having all my storage full, and I flew the ornithopter over. Actually, before I even had an ornithopter, I drove my buggy over open sand, which was really freaking scary. So I had to plot it out very carefully, the shortest distances, right, from here to here, to risk getting ate by a worm, and then you're up on land, and I had to traverse my buggy all the way through all of this to get to there, and then unload the buggy, and then drive back and do it again. And so I moved all of my materials and everything I accrued, and then I just left the base, you know, for the next person, maybe like whoever would need it. So you know what? I don't know that they don't have that yet. And from what I hear, when they do implement it, it's going to be cosmetics. So I don't know about spending in real life money on, you know, they might add a store, but it'll be all cosmetic. It's not going to be pay to win type stuff. So if you want, like right now, this armor set, that my look, I'm customized. So what I'm wearing isn't, you know, like you can pick as you find these different things. You can pick different looks for your character. Oh, that's a pretty cool one, Slaver. And so you can end up having different looks for your character. I'm not really sure how you add to these variants. I know that you can spend in-game money, the Solaris or the gold in-game, and then you can you know, with the Solaris in-game, you can actually, you know, make your character look like whatever. So yeah, so I just designed my character with this, and there's different things. So there's ooh, you can hear a worm out there somewhere. When it comes to customization, there's when you click on stuff, there's variants, so you can make them look like different things, and then there's swatches, which just change the color scheme of them, you know. So between all that, you can look pretty unique. And the character creation was pretty deep too, so you can make your character look pretty interesting. But as far as spending in real life money, other than buying the game, they haven't implemented the store yet. So I don't think that you can spend in real life money and buy Solaris and all of that stuff. And it's probably frowned upon in terms of service, right? If you're using a third party something to buy that, right? Usually is. So. Yeah, exploration in this game is really, really cool. They've done a really good job on this thing. You can see when I stand out in the sun for a little bit, right near where my player is too, you'll see a heat bar show up. You think you're gonna get it? It'll have to wait till payday though. My fun money was spent on Daisy. Yeah, yeah. So you can see right above my character, you can see that sun meter is gaining, and so as that gets to critical levels, you'll see my water over to the far left just start depleting very quickly. So so you have to, you know, especially if I'm operating off of a full bar of water. Imagine if you're only operating off of 1 bar of water and you don't have access to water. Like, I'm carrying water around with me, this thing right here, decaliter John. I can just drink from it and it'll fill my water completely, you know. But you don't have this to start. You literally have your hands and you got to run up and just grab dew off of plants, you know. And if the plants are in the sun, there's no dew on them, you know. So then you're finding a place like this to hang out in during the day so you don't get roasted, you know, and you're trying to slink around to the shadows. So yeah, so even with the large opening there, you can see that to the left it says water sealed. So if a sandstorm were to come, I would be okay here. So this is a haven for somebody. They could just run in, even though they can't access anything. They could just run in and be out of a sandstorm and not get killed. But if you get this, let me know, because it's just like with DayZ. I have to let you know what server and world we're on. And actually, the server we're on, I think, is like LA based, so you will have better ping than us. And if you want to live the hard life, you can. Or if you want help, you can do that too. Like if you want to get out to the deep desert and start running and doing things with us. The building situation is massive. Like, let me show you this. Yeah. Here. So let's open this up. So I can't make any of this because at this base I don't have the resources, and what it does is the resources you have gathered, it pulls from storage within your base. So like over at my other base I can make all of this, but all of this stuff is placeable sub-fief items that help you craft or refurbish or whatever. Here's your like utilities, here's your fabricators, here's your refineries, here's your storage. Then let's go to furniture. If you go to lighting, here's all the different lighting that I've purchased in game. Here's all the furniture that I've purchased in game, rugs, wall signage, ornaments and different things, miscellaneous, and then structures within this FOAM. So I purchased in-game with in-game money like a FOAM design kit, so I can build these structures, build these walls, roof, incline, special, and then FOAM facility. It's got just a different tone to it or a different look to it. So that way your buildings can look unique too if you want. And then I have the Atreides design, you know, so the structures, walls, doors, everything look different. Roofs, inclines, and specials. So, and you can get the Harkonnen, and there's just other different stuff. So the building thing is massive, and you select the item you want, and then you can rotate which direction it's facing, and if you have the materials, build it, you know. So basically, if you can dream it, you can pretty much build it in this game. It acts very similar to Fortnite Creative as far as map creation and building creation in Fortnite Creative. So it's pretty cool. But each one of those lights are placed on the walls over there. The railings were built, everything individually built. So you're into that. Yeah, being able to build something that just feels like home, like you did that, right? So like this area up here, I wasn't sure I was going to what to do up here because I already had all of the refineries and everything that I need, storage for this one base, and I was starting to kind of grow out of this base, and I thought, well, let's put a little living area up here. Not that, you know, this is the extent of you interacting with it, right? You can sit on it or you can lay on it. You know, that's it. But let's put a little living area here for some aesthetics or whatever. Serves zero, you know, real purpose, but I do recommend when you make your base. There are some people with some massive bases too. Let's fly over there and look at that. They built their huge, ginormous bases near the starting zone, which was a little odd. I don't really know why they did that, but where is my... Oh, there it is. Like these guys right here used all those claim extenders and everything and built this massive thing, right? That expands over to here, then ramps up to here, and it's like the entire freaking side of the mountain. Look at this. All of this belongs to a, you know, one guild or one person. So, and it's in the starting zone, you know, which is crazy. But this is a player's living arrangement. This thing this is bigger than a mall. You could get lost in that thing. You know, this is player's base right here. A lot of different designs. And oh, another thing too is you can create this base and then you can save it onto this device, and then you can sell your base design in the shop. So like when we go to the trading post here, that's this illuminated thing. This will be one of the first trading posts that you come to. So there's a board that you can take quests through, and I'm completely done with all my quests in this. They're adding more quests and stuff like that too. So the quest board, and then some of these characters are interactable that have their own quest lines and stuff. And so talking to them, like that guy for sure, the Harkonnen for sure, this person for sure. And then they have a shop here. And
Still alive.
not only, you know,
That's too
can you
bad.
buy stuff
We
from
had
the
that
shop,
going.
the shop givers give you quests too sometimes. But the shop givers have items that you might need to buy, and it takes a Solaris, you know, and then you can sell items. Like all of this stuff that I want to sell, I should just sell right now instead of carrying it around on me. There's no reason for me to be carrying this stuff. I'm running around with like 1,000 pounds on me or something. Now these things sell for more too. You notice how there's where the durability's at. If I were to repair it, it would go up to this red line. It would sell for more. But sometimes the materials that it would take to repair the thing are worth more than you would actually get out of selling it, so you end up just selling it for whatever, you know, whatever they're asking for, and just get it out of your inventory. Player-driven economy? Yep, 100%. So this is just an NPC saying, but if I were to take the... There's a lady, when you don't have an ornithopter, you can't get to the two major cities, Arrakeen or Harko Village. You can't get there, so you have to
Can I fly you somewhere today?
pay her.
Music to
and
my
so
ears.
let's go to
Atreides and a war
Arrakeen.
limit.
Costs 2,500
I can get you there.
to go
Alright.
there.
Stop.
And I'll show you what the auction house looks like, and that's a player-driven economy. Those two major cities have those, and you can place stuff like those plans, those schematics that I found. If I already have a schematic that I've learned, then I can put it up for sale and people will buy it and that haven't found it yet, right? I can sell raw materials there. So let's say you just want to spend an entire week farming aluminum ore. You could take all of your aluminum ore and put it up for sale and make Solaris doing that. You could be a millionaire just being a aluminum farmer, right? So this image that they showed, that's a carrier. It's a massive flying thing that carries the there's a truck that vacuums up the spice sand, and that's a carrier for it, hauls it around. It's huge. So your two main factions right now are Arrakeen or Atreides. It's Atreides or Harkonnen, and we went Atreides. So this is like our home. You know, it's like in World of Warcraft if you were Horde or Alliance, right? Where you would end up being at. But this right here is a symbol for the player-driven economy. Now the thing about it is whatever Solaris or gold you have on you, you can't really spend that. You have to go up to this person and deposit money with them.
Would you like to deposit
So
or withdraw
I have money
Solaris?
that's credit or deposited. So he already has 50K deposited, and so that means I have a 50K balance that I can purchase with. And then you just come over to these stations, and you know, it's whatever light armor people have found. I might actually want to buy this helmet right here. That's an upgrade to what I have. We're gonna buy it. Boom. Now I go to my orders, it says I purchased it, I click on it, and I take the item. Boom. And then I take the item, and then I slap the item on my head. Because it's 157. It's better all the way around. Boom. Look at that. I just upgraded my stuff right in front of you. So, and I'm wearing the Syndicate pants too, so that was a good upgrade. I'm surprised somebody was selling that for 15K. So, but they have raw materials, refined materials in here. Like if you wanted to just, like this spice melange, I don't have to go out and farm spice. I could just save my Solaris and come here and just always buy it. Let other people, you know, risk getting ate by the worm and losing everything, you know, raw materials. People are selling corpses. That's funny. So, but yeah, you can get spice sand. It takes 500 of these, or 100 to make even one melange. So, you know, this is gonna make 4 melange right here. So, pretty sure. Well, they're selling them for 500 a piece per one. So if I wanted to buy that whole thing, it's going to be 200,000 to buy all of it. But, you know, with some money, I never have to actually go farm spice, which is one of the most risky and dangerous things. Not only you have to deal with the worm, you're sitting out in the open desert, walking around and thumping on the sand, and the worm's coming, but enemy players, right? So they're flying around with their, you know, death machines raining rockets on your head. So yeah, but this is 100% player driven right here. And I can put my orders and what I have actively up for sale right now. So and because I've been going out to the deep desert and farming schematics, you know, now, are they going to sell? I don't know. We'll find out. This is the best sword in the game, though. Actually, I want to take that down. Rotten needs that. Yeah, so I'll take that back so Rotten can have that. You can craft some basic stuff with the right materials, just on your person if you have the materials. Another thing too is researching. Let me look at this here real quick. These are all the schematics that I've found so far, and then when you learn a new schematic, you can go check it out and look at the stats on it. Wow. That's definitely almost in-game still suit right there. The still suits hold your body water. Water. It's not too bad. What's this? Bang. This area down here is obviously the best. And this is the helm I've been saving up for. And this helm is even better than the one that I just bought. So, but that's like end game. So, but I think with that helm upgrade, I'm ready for PvP. Like I have, you know, I have the weapons and I have the whatever, and I have the skills to be able to compete in PvP. So. Should be fun. Alright, let me go make lunch for the girls here real quick, and then we can jump into some daisies. That sound good? Sweet. I was telling my buddy about a daisy. He had asked about it, and I told him about how crazy survival it is. And then us running into that random guy, Tom, and like all the funny stuff with DayZ that we've been running into. So it's been fun. So, all right, I'll jump in Discord after I get lunch made for the girls. See ya. Thanks for joining the stream, people. Bye.